Okay, month end is officially done. That was intense. There was a lot of good things happening on this team that made me 100% thrilled. Um, I wanted to quickly hop on here because I think, and I said it in November, marrying the months of, November and December, or even December and January, marrying your month end to the beginning of your month is huge. And it's what is going to really set the tone for your new month and what it is that you're going to be working on and the goals that you're going towards. So I knew I wanted to hop on the first and just kind of pump everybody up and set some good intentions and help out with, the different questions that were coming in all month of November with recruiting and with, finding ambassadors and all of that stuff. So we're going to go over that. But before we do, I wanted to touch on the fact that, there was a lot of you that were going for your next rank advancement and you didn't hit it. I didn't hit silver. And granted, that was a really tough pill to swallow because I didn't qualify for the Costa Rica trip and that just sucks. And, I kind of had prepared myself for that just because watching the volume move and everything like that, I am a realistic person, although everybody really did fight hard until the very end, which is amazing. And I couldn't ask for anything more. With that being said, though, even waking up this morning and seeing congratulation posts for the people that hit silver and talking about Costa Rica, of course it punched me in the gut a little bit. I'm human. I'm staying positive through the whole thing, but I'm human. And I was like, oh my gosh, that just really sucks. And I even looked at Brock and I'm like, well, I guess I can't run with the big dogs like I think I can. And he's like, babe, you're fine, knock it off, whatever. So I had my moment. But then Nikki, she's in our upline, she tagged me in a post that Mark McCod made. And I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. Maybe you have, I don't know. He is also in our upline. But I wanted to start this out by reading it because a lot of people started feeling defeated early on in the very last week of the month, or some even before that. Everybody still tried their hardest and everybody still gave it their all. And with a little bit of coaching, people were still envisioning and seeing, and that's amazing. That told me that going into December, everybody was having a really strong December, and that's huge. That's huge. That's a success in itself. But then Nikki tagged me in this post, and it got me a little bit teary-eyed because I'm like, oh, this is such a good message. So I wanted to read it to you guys before we get into this stuff. He starts saying, Joel Osteen told a story once about how he was climbing a mountain somewhere in the Alps. He talked about how they would just climb, never knowing how much farther the summit was, and that many times he wanted to quit from exhaustion. However, one day he saw someone much more feeble who was descending from the top. Seeing Osteen struggle, he said these simple words that inspired him to continue to the summit. You're closer than you think. With these encouraging words and seeing how someone else with less strength had completed the journey, it allowed him to finish the ascent to the summit. There's a lesson in all of that. First off, I want to say a tremendous congratulations to all of those who got promoted at the close of business in November. You deserve the allocates and you deserve the recognition for a job well done. Feel good and enjoy it. This post, however, is not only for those who did reach their goals, but more for all of those hardworking, passionate company ambassadors that came up short. The unsung heroes who, through their individual sacrifices and hard work, allowed others to advance and get the allocates. I've written these posts before because I know how fragile the human mind can be in terms of own negative self-talk. I also know how important it is to pick up these amazing leaders ASAP who may have stumbled and rebuild their personal self-belief and feelings of value and worthiness before their own negative thoughts become ingrained in their personal belief system. Last night, I talked to many incredible leaders who seriously busted their tails making many sacrifices through the month, but yet fell short of hitting their desired goals. The thing about these hard workers is that often they don't verbally express their frustration, but you can sometimes hear a sense of disappointment or resignation in their voices. After all, they worked so hard, often without fanfare, and now as the end of the month closes, they have to watch others get the praise. It can eat them up inside because of the feelings of inadequacy it can generate. It makes me so sad that many of these uniquely beautiful people could actually question themselves and their value. As someone who has been in this industry for many years, this is the one thing that kills me. Seeing supremely talented, passionate people allow themselves to get frustrated and turn their own mind against themselves as they compare themselves to others. With each new post congratulating someone else that they read, they externally applaud and praise, but internally, they are focusing on all of their personal shortcomings, magnifying their own weaknesses, and sometimes sadly convincing themselves that the pain they are experiencing of missing a goal is not worth the journey. They start doing the little things that allow themselves to back away from feelings of discomfort and inadequacy, such as not showing up to events or not showing up on calls. They don't announce they are quitting, they just simply start to fade away. And the beautiful soul of that frustrated ambassador with so much potential that was so close to flourishing starts to wither and disappear. With no offense intended to those incredible leaders who rank advanced this month, I'm sure if you asked any of them, they would admit they were merely being the representative of the team's collective hard work and effort. As we are all leaders, and I call all of you in this industry that, regardless of rank, because you have been a visionary daring to chase your dream, we need to be aware of these feelings of disappointment so many good people will share. The disappointment of missing a goal can be compounded and exponentially harmful to one's psyche when they see others advancing, and yet their own personal efforts have often gone unrecognized. Here is my message to those folks who fell short or feel down, and I say it from the heart. I admire you so much, as do all of the other leaders, and I and they can understand your frustration and your pain. I've been there. Over the years, I felt the feelings of self-doubt and have often questioned myself, feeling I let others down, including myself. I felt happy for others, but also sometimes secretly felt a little envious of them that they were getting the advancement and the praise. I turned it against myself, thinking I wasn't deserving or worthy, the exact opposite of personal development. However, I have learned that this is a part of what makes us great. This frustration, although in the moment may seem painful, is actually a required step to take you from being a good leader to being a great one. Very few people will relate to the person who had the seamless, simple rise to the top without challenges. How can we help future ambassadors in our team overcome their own internal demons if we haven't been there ourselves? What you may feel right now is a personal shortcoming is actually a life lesson in how to deal with disappointment that you can convey and teach your future team. I learned a lesson from one of my mentors a long time ago. Instead of getting frustrated, get fascinated. Instead of beating yourself up, give yourself credit for your growth. Your time is coming soon, and you need to embrace the disappointment you feel as a lesson to make you that much greater as a leader of others in the future. Stay out of the past and build a beautiful future. The past is gone, and it may have gotten you where you are, but it does not need to dictate your future. You have no limits. Now the tough love. This is my favorite part. Get up and get back on that horse with a renewed passion. Show everyone what you have inside of you. Look ahead to the future with excitement instead of looking back with regret and self-defeating thoughts. You haven't missed anything. Market penetration is next to nothing, and opportunity is booming right now. This is not a competition or a race. This is so much room for growth that we must have a mindset of abundance and not a mindset of scarcity. Not to sound harsh, but you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. It's time to build your future. Are you going to allow the dream stealers and your own internal negative voices stop you from living your passion? Are you going to give them that power? Would you stop a baby from trying to walk if they fell down a few times? Then stop limiting yourself with your beliefs and move beyond the short-term thinking to that of being a long-term visionary. Stay positive and focused. Forgive yourself for your past. Do daily affirmations to yourself, and let's collectively go out and change the world. Your time is coming, and when it comes, people will stand and applaud you to recognize you for the journey you overcame to get to your goals. This is what will make you great. That is what will leave a legacy. Run hard now, experience, but learn from the disappointments and make a difference. This is bigger than you and me. This is a cause. And you will be the person that saves so many. You just need to believe that. You're closer than you think. Literally, when I read that, it was at the perfect time. I wouldn't have totally beat myself up for not hitting silver, because just going through this whole month, there has been so many of you that have had so many successes, and it blows my mind. And so many of you have planted so many seeds that you're going to have a strong December. So, you know, sitting even on the couch with Brock this morning and saying, well, I guess I just can't run with the big dogs, like that could have easily turned into the most depressive state. And I've experienced it before when I didn't hit a goal. I totally just turned myself inwards and it totally slowed down my whole business. So I love that she tagged me in that. I love that he said those words on the first day of the month when so many need to hear them. So I needed to share that with you guys because a lot of you didn't meet the goal you were going for, but guess what? You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. That's why we're here on December 1st and we are having this Zoom so we can brainstorm, so that I can give you some advice so that we can start it out strong and not let the momentum fail. Because across the board, people will always say it is so hard to build a business during the holiday season. And guess what? That's not going to be the case right now. So motivational talk aside, I wanted to, let me pull up my notes here. First and foremost, what we need, what I do, what my focus is, I obviously was tracking all of my volume. If you missed your promotion, or if you hit a promotion and you're looking towards that next promotion, the thing that you're going to want to do is find that deficit and then focus on bringing that amount in first. That deficit for me on one leg is going to be bringing in 3,900 in volume as quick as possible because that's the amount I missed it on that one leg. On the other leg, it's like 2,100 maybe in volume. And so that's going to be the focus on that leg. Very first and foremost, like I want to make sure that I'm making that up because as history has shown in my organization, like my volume will continue to go through the month. And so I want to be completely clear on what it is that I need to start with. So find your deficit. Figure it out. If you were going for elite and you missed it, figure out how much you missed it by and how much in what leg. Write that down as a goal of what you're going to go for. Speaking of going for, one of the things that shot me kind of in the foot a little bit is I didn't quite understand what it was going to take to go to silver. So the whole month I was feeling very, very comfortable and confident, and I didn't know. And maybe I did know, I just wasn't completely clear on it. But since I've got my 3 legs, and you are required to have 3 legs when you're going silver, I needed the balance to be 10,000, 10,000, and 5,000. I thought that since that 3rd leg was just kind of shot out to help, you know, even out and balance stuff, that, you know, I just had 10,000 from one leg, but the rest of it could just be split between the other 2 legs. That's not the case. It has to be done 10, 10, 5. So I woke up like 20 days too late when I realized that. And so I don't want that to happen for you guys. I don't care how long you've been in the business. I don't care if you think you know exactly what it's going to take you to get you to that next rank. Reach out and just double, triple, quadruple verify that you know exactly what it's going to take. Make sure all of the T's are crossed, all of the I's are dotted. Do your due diligence, know what you know, like make sure it's solid because you don't want to end up the last week of the month and be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss it and it's going to be all on me. Like that was totally my fault. I should have double checked that at the beginning of November. So that is my big advice to you guys. Look at the goal you're going for and make sure you know exactly what it is going to take to get there and not just number wise. As far as balancing, if you're shooting off a 3rd leg, you need to make sure that you've got that in mind. With that being said, a lot of people are going for elite. If you've got 2 legs and that's producing volume, that's great. I would never shoot off a 3rd leg to reach a promotion until your 2 legs are producing by themselves without a ton of interference from you. Okay, so don't go and get excited and shoot off that 3rd leg if you don't have those first 2 legs under wraps. Tied up with a pretty bow, you know that there's strong people there and you know that it is going to be okay if you start focusing on building that 3rd leg because you don't want your attention to be split between the 2. You know, I'm very, very blessed and grateful that I more so just need to worry about building my weak leg. And that's where my attention more so is, because I've got some strong people in my other two legs that produce amazing volume. I am so blessed. You guys are all amazing. All of you are amazing. So know exactly what it's going to take. Make sure you're asking your enroller to clarify. If you guys need to get on the phone with me, then obviously I will. If I'm confused, I'll get you on the phone with Shannon. So going into, obviously, December, the holidays, I literally was looking at my calendar and I'm like, I'm going to start scheduling some more, in-person events. And I'm like, oh, there's a Christmas party here and there and here and there. Like, there's a lot of stuff that comes up with Christmas. And I am a firm believer on you should be enjoying this time with your family and with your friends and whatever, type of Christmas activities that you have going on. But at the same sense, you're going to have to treat this like the business that it is. Everybody still works their jobs through the holidays or goes to school through the holidays, and they're still focusing on getting their life done, right? So if you're going for a goal in this company, you're going to have to intently focus on what that is and carve out time to do all of that. I know a lot of, I don't know a lot of leaders. There are a few leaders that I've spoken to this morning, not on like our team or anything, but just side. And, they're totally just taking the day to recoup from not hitting their goals, and then they're going to start up again tomorrow. For me, I try not to work a lot on Sunday, if at all. So for me, I knew I was coming in on this Saturday and I'm back to back with stuff, okay? Back to back with stuff until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then I'm going to focus on creating or tweaking a group page, which I'm going to talk to you guys about, which is exciting. So I'm working all day Saturday because I'm starting out strong. I'm going to take my day off tomorrow like I normally would for a Sunday. I don't know why my internet is so slow. The drag of myself is driving me crazy. Anyways, this is what I'm talking about when it's marrying months. It's coming in December 1st and you're setting your goals, you're setting your intention, but you're also taking the action that needs to happen to do so. Taking the breaks are fine, especially through the holiday seasons. But you guys, I highly suggest making sure you sit down, get out your calendar for your 30 days, and start writing down what it is that you've got going on what day. So then you can see visually where it is that you can fit the business in, whether it be 15 minutes here or a half an hour before I go to this Christmas party, whatever it is, make sure you are touching your business once a day in some form, because that's what's going to keep you on track for the goals. Because listen, by the time, Christmas Eve comes around, people are going to want to just chill. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, that whole week after into New Year's, that's hard to stay focused. That's hard for people even going back to their corporate jobs, right? Like that whole week is just kind of a wasted week. But if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur and you're wanting to make some serious money and you're wanting to promote, you'll use that week where others won't. Others are going to lose that week. If you're smart, you're going to use that time. And I get it. My kids are going to be home from school that whole week, and it's a challenge. It is a challenge. But, even those conversations with your family of saying, hey, listen, I am going to go into my bedroom for an hour. I've got to get some work done. Try not to bother me unless it's an emergency. Talk to dad, watch a movie, do what it is you can do. Maybe schedule some time with a babysitter if you need that time with a babysitter. If that means you going out of your house to even go set up at like the Starbucks and work for an hour, then do it. Make the intentional effort and you won't be so distracted, and it will pay you off in the long run, I promise. So bringing in as much as possible before month end, obviously that's always the goal. You would be so shocked with how much, I'm sure in your own personal businesses, but the amount of volume that comes in on the last day of the month, because that is when people are pushing the hardest, is insane. It's incredibly insane. And it's awesome. And that's always going to be the name of the game, always. But if you can visualize that and do it before, month end this month is New Year's Eve, right? Like, what do you do? That's New Year's Eve. That is the time where people are out doing New Year's Eve parties, doing whatever it is that they do. So like, that's hard. That's going to be rough to sit down and actually get work done on New Year's Eve night until, for me, 11 o'clock Utah time. That would give me an hour until midnight to where I can actually join in on the festivities of whatever's going on. So my plan is to bring in as much as I can and help as much people as I can before December 31st, because I know it's going to be crazy and I'm going to be available to help people, but I would like everybody to feel like they're secure enough that they know that it's just coming in and they're going to hit whatever goal they're going to hit, right? So keep that in mind, you guys. That kind of freaked me out a little bit because I don't think I've ever sat on a New Year's Eve and worked. I'm pretty sure I've always just taken it off. And, I made a commitment to myself and to Brock after September that I will never schedule anything on month end again. I will never have something pull me away from my business on month end, because not only is it important for me to reach goals, but just being available for a team who need help is important. So it's going to be interesting this year to see how it works out. Okay, so then kind of back a little bit to just making sure you know what it's going to look like to get your promotions. You guys sit down. One thing that I did wish I could turn this around. Maybe I'll drag it over here just a sec. So I've got this whiteboard sitting in my kitchen area because this is where I'm currently working, but I've got my legs all reset for silver, 10, 10, 5. And what I've done in different forms per se, since I've been with Q, is I will put my goal, or I'll kind of just do a countdown, right? When my organization was smaller, I did it more so towards each person, and I had a countdown of what volume they needed to hit their promotion. Well, now that it's huge and there's way too many names to fit on this whiteboard, it's just a number for me. So as volume starts coming in, I'm going to obviously have to separate it leg specific, and then I'll cross that out and write what the new number is. So I'm making myself a visual countdown so I know exactly where things are at the end of every day. And sometimes I update this a few times a day because I'm a little chaotic, crazy. So I highly suggest finding some sort of visual tool that might help you see the countdown number. That's huge motivation for me, and it's exciting, you guys. That's the main part about it, is it's so exciting to be able to cross that off and see the new number. And my husband would look at it every day, my kids look at it every day, and they're like, oh my gosh, Mom, between Thanksgiving and a few days before month end, Brock was like, look how much volume you guys really have crushed since Thanksgiving. So I think that this is huge, and I'm a huge numerology person. There's sometimes when the numbers on this board end up being like 1111 or 777, and I circle it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this means something, because I've got this little thing in my phone that tells me what those numbers mean. So like, it totally pumps me up to keep me going. Definitely find something that's going to work for you, that will keep your motivation and keep you excited. Because as we all saw, like, the negativity and like what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever it is, but like the negative thoughts will start to creep in quickly, and they can camp out there for a while, and it's hard to like pull yourself out of that. So visualization, guys, it really works so well. But you gotta find what's gonna work for you. Okay. Again, I'm working in my kitchen ever since I don't even know when. I need to go clean up my office so that this area does not look like this. It's pretty bad. Okay, so you've probably noticed, let me see what this chat says. Yeah, the countdown. The countdown is huge. Sierra says, this is what I did last week. It helped so much. It really does, you guys. And also, I think I've also explained, which Sierra did as well, figuring out and breaking your overall total number that you need and breaking that down into the smallest number is really helpful. It's less scary. If I need 25,000 to go silver, I divide that by 3 legs, and then I divide those 3 legs by 100 volume to see how many orders I need across 3 legs to hit that goal. Because that smaller number is a heck of a lot more manageable than looking at 25,000. That number is huge. That's a scary number. So that works as well. You guys have noticed, like, I really enjoy doing challenges, especially towards month end, because it really does help people push a little bit harder to get the volume they need for stuff. You know, I'm also a huge believer in the fact that the reward of meeting said goal should be enough to motivate you to get that. The free product in being Care and Share qualified should be enough to get you to be Care and Share qualified. Like, nobody should need the extra, in my opinion. You know what it takes in this business to hit whatever, you know, qualification of things that there is. So, you know, running at a 100 in volume order, there should never have to be an incentive attached to that. But I do think challenges and stuff like this is really good to help people boost volume in month end, especially for, you know, a new rep that might be coming in. Let me write this thought down real quick so I don't forget it. I was up all night, and every time a thought came to my mind, I had to get in my phone and put it in my phone so I didn't forget it by the time we did this meeting. I'm a nut job, you guys. So anyways, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, month-end challenges. So even like new reps coming in, I think if you're to say, hey, listen, these are the things that we do. This is what it takes to run this business. That since we're close to the month or the end of the month, we've got this month-end challenge going. So you could win an additional pack of sprays because our upline is doing this month-end challenge if you get your 3 customers by tomorrow. Like, something like that is beneficial for your rep. It's beneficial for the organizational volume. And then they get an extra something or other. I like to give gifts, so I am fine doing stuff like this. But I do want to say that you should already be running and gunning towards these things, because that's just what it is to be in this business, right? But with that, I want to know what challenges you guys, or what motivates you guys the most as far as getting to work, because she offered this prize and I really am motivated. I want to get this prize. Is it just cash, cold hard cash? Is it product? Because, you know, you could put that back into your business and sample it out. Is it, you know, a random gift? Is it, you know, whatever. I would like to know, is it time spent? Like, maybe we can go to dinner together, or maybe I get you on a coaching call with Shannon or Amanda, or I could maybe make it happen with Jake or Marielle. Like, what motivates you to actually, Rob, you can let her out. What motivates you to actually get your fire lit and get going? I want to know what that is for each of you, so then I can kind of personalize these month-end challenges a little bit and actually offer you something that's going to impact your business, right? So definitely pop that in the chat if you need to. You can text message me or message me privately or whatever, but I want to know what that is for you guys. So down and dirty to the stuff that's going to grow, the stuff that's going to matter. Everybody asks Sierra's been getting blown up by people just like, what are you doing to bring in all this volume? How are you doing this? And that's amazing. I love that everybody's feeling comfortable enough and confident enough to reach out to others and ask for help and for advice. That's exactly what you should be doing. And she's so great with sharing the information, so take it in and use it. But overall, what can we do? You know, there's never going to be a magic sauce that I'm going to be able to hand you to say, if you do this, this is going to work. You guys, it's literally doing something in your business every single day is going to compound to get you where you want to go. If you haven't read The Compound Effect, I highly suggest you to, because that totally explains this whole thought process of, even if it's 30 minutes every day, doing something is going to make a difference. Huge things that work Obviously, those host-to-posts that we started doing, those are huge. If you got a huge response on that and then you're feeling a little defeated because not very many people actually placed an order, don't be defeated. Don't feel that way. Because again, look at all of the people that post just impacted. Look at all of the people that now have their eyes on what it is you're doing and talking about. That's huge. That's a whole bunch of seeds that you just planted, even if they didn't order by the end of the month. Those are people you get to follow up with again in December and say, hey, I know we didn't ever connect and you didn't get that order in, but what are you thinking about this? Like, we could concoct a follow-up message, like whatever. So those are huge. Following up with everybody that you talked to about Q in November or even October, we get to now swing back around with them, because the more they are exposed to it, the more they hear from you, the more they hear Q or sprays or hemp oil or whatever, eventually they're going to come around. But then you're also speaking all those words, you're taking all those actions, you're putting it all out into the universe. And I'm this person that's the believer that the more you do that, the quicker something's going to come back to you. I have said it 100 times. There has been times where I sat down and I messaged 100 people a day for a month. That was my goal, messaging 100 people a day, and I did that for a month. It was successful in the right that I spoke to so many people in that month. It was bizarre. Not everybody I spoke to ordered from me or enrolled in my business. However, I will say my volume jacked up because there were people coming out of the woodwork all over the place that I maybe hadn't talked to before, and they were placing orders. It was bizarre. It was so crazy. Another thing that I do social media wise is everybody that you talked to on that host-to-post task. So anybody that commented, anybody that posted it for you, well, they would have already been your friend, but anybody who commented on that post, I make sure I add them to my friends list, because then they're going to start seeing your posts. You should be adding them to your friends list, every single one of them. So also referrals. That was something I dropped last night. Anybody you've talked to that has told you no, great. This might not be their thing. They might not be interested in getting healthier or using hemp oil. However, you can follow back around with them and ask them, okay, listen, I know that this isn't your thing. That's fine. I'll respect that. But do you know somebody who I could talk to or meet with that would be interested? Referrals are huge. Getting referrals from your current customers, getting referrals from anybody who has said that they're interested in this business, but they just can't for whatever reason. Well, hey, you might not be able to yet, but do you know somebody that comes to mind that might be able to do this or might want to learn about it? So referrals are huge. Upselling is golden. I know I said this last month, and I hate saying it because I think it comes out wrong, but overall, there are so many orders in the system for one spray, which is what, like 12 PV is all? And you be grateful for any type of volume you have, obviously. Any small bit matters and counts. However, if somebody's coming to me with some sort of issue, what do you have that can help me with this? I am not going to give you just one spray. I'm going to say you should probably try our Q Trim Pack. And if you want to use this spray, the Boost spray, in addition to that, that's really awesome. It gets this, you're familiar with the sprays, you're using them, you're going to love the spray. But if you're wanting to make a big impact, let's get you started on Q Trim as well, or instead of. And you guys, this is not just upselling to get the upsell. It's really thinking bigger and thinking what else we have that could help this person feel better or achieve their goals, right? If somebody's coming to me as an ambassador and they're like, I'm ready to come in, I'm gonna crush it, I'm gonna go gold in 30 days, what do I need to do? Well, you should probably order the Success Pack along with your enrollment kit, because that's gonna get you all of these products to push out, to sample to people, and that's gonna set you up for success right out of the gate. Plus, you can use some of them yourself. if you really calculate it down, that success pack is a great deal because it has, the Q trim in it plus the Q Core Q Max, and those both are like what, $100? So you're getting an excellent deal there. I think a lot of people are just so grateful when somebody's like, yeah, I'll buy something from you. Let me buy a cleanse. And so many people are like, so grateful for that, which is great, but you're also scared to say, what works well with the cleanse is the fiber. It actually says it right on the website that they work really well paired together, and I'm a walking testimony of that. That's what I've been doing the past week. But they're going to appreciate that you are, actually thinking of their needs and suggesting something else. The worst that can happen is they're like, I really can only afford this spray right now. Okay, fine. That's okay. Thank you for your order. Maybe I'll follow back up with this person on payday next week and say, hey, listen, how's that Boost spray treating you? You're liking it? Great. Maybe now's a good time to try the Q Trim Pack. Put in another order for them. Just because they order from you one time during the month does not mean that they'll never order again in that month. Maybe that's all they can afford at that time, and that's fine. Follow back up with your customers, guys. That's just good customer service and a good way to boost up your volume. But definitely start thinking bigger with your sales. These little onesie twosies, they're great, but you've seen how stressful that gets when you're trying to reach a big goal, okay? And then the last thing I'll go into is, this is something I talked with Sierra a lot about last night. When you're bringing in your new business partners, I think the trend is you bring them in, they're enrolled. Most people are waiting for their kit to get started. Honestly, in my opinion, that's kind of doing them a little bit of a disservice. I would not want to instill a bad habit of waiting. You guys have already heard what I had to say about waiting. Waiting is not ever going to do anything for anybody. So if you've got an ambassador that has enrolled and they are excited, you need to be playing off that excitement. I would be saying, hey, you don't need to wait for your kit to get started. Think of you know what that launch document looks like. Every single person here should know what that launch document looks like. Even if you're new, pull it up online, check it out. At the very bottom, it talks about your Fab 5. So my conversation with my new rep is saying, hey, think of 5 people right now. You're enrolled, you're in the system. Who's your Fab 5 that you want to offer these amazing spots to first? Because guys, honestly, the first 5 or 6 people that they bring into their business are going to be set up very well as far as volume being built under them goes. So I would explain that, have that conversation with them. Get on the phone with those 5 people right away, invite them to an opportunity 48 hours away and say, okay, we are going to launch in 48 hours. We're going to get these people under you in 48 hours, and it's just going to be boom, boom, boom. The next person enrolls under this person, we're doing the same exact thing. And then we're teaching that same process, that same system to every single new ambassador that comes in to your team. The amount of volume that is going to bring up, everybody is going to hit those first 3 promotions, no doubt. No doubt if that's how you guys are running your organization. One of the big tips I threw out last month was the fact that I had a few girls that had to wait till payday before they could enroll. That's fine, I understand that. But in the meantime, your task is to be thinking of your first 5 people and reach out to them and say, hey, Sue, I'm enrolling, or I'm partnering with this crazy Brittany girl who's in this business. I'm enrolling with her on Friday. I want you to do it with me. You should chat with her tomorrow, and then on Friday we can do it together. They should be already thinking forward progression, even if they have to wait until payday. That's going to set them up for so much success, you guys. You're doing them such a good service. So I just got really excited talking about that. Definitely make sure you have the goal of launching your new people 24 to 48 hours. It doesn't have to be in person. Get on Zoom and do it. Get on your Messenger video chat. Call them if you have to, if there's nothing else available. There's no excuses, basically, is what it comes down to. Everybody has the chance to make amazing things happen in December. So I'm really, really looking forward to see what all comes up. This is going to be fun. Guys, there's already volume sitting in my OV bucket as of this morning at 8 o'clock this morning. This team is insane, and we are going to do amazingly great things. With that being said, please fill up my calendar. Let me help you with all of the things. Today is super busy for me. Tomorrow I'm not going to work. One more thing I should actually touch on. There's a lot of new people in this group, a lot of new people on this team, and a lot of people that just, I don't think quite understands how I run my day. So Sundays are like, overall, those are days that I'm not going to commit to anybody for meetings, not even really phone calls. Like, I really like to take Sunday and decompress. With that being said, every other weekend my kids go with their dad, and if Brock and I are just chilling on the couch watching football, like, obviously I'll answer messages and help, answer questions and all of that stuff. So aside from Sunday, Monday through Saturday, business hours, my phone, I literally have a do not disturb set on my phone, and it is from 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it doesn't come back on until I think 8:45 in the morning. So it is silent. I don't get notified of anything because that is the time when my kids come home from school. We're doing homework, dinner, we have dance, sometimes we have football or baseball, depending on the season. Bath, bedtime, I'll schedule, meetings, opportunity Zooms, whatever it is, but I purposely turn it off, and then it's purposely automatically comes back on after I drop my kids off at school. I got the sense that that was frustrating for a lot of people in November because I wasn't maybe responding quick enough, or you just weren't able to get a hold of me right when you needed to. Guys, you're gonna have to be patient. And the cool thing is, if you've got questions that you need answered right away and I'm not available to you, you have so many other resources you can tap into. Get into the Q Movement page. Instant message Shannon or Amanda or Rachel. There's so many things. Look in your dang app or your back office. Search for the information. I promise you, whatever question you get from whatever customer or potential ambassador, all you have to say is, you know what, I don't know the answer to that right now, but let me find out for you. Or don't say anything at all. Like, you don't have to be super available to them either. Like, respect yourself and make it so that people respect your time by saying, you know what, I'm actually at dinner, I can answer you in an hour. But just so you guys know, that's what my schedule looks like. If I'm not responding, it's because I'm doing family stuff. Now, obviously, after dinner and things are done, I am working on my phone throughout the night, especially if there's like meetings and stuff set up. So I'm not completely unavailable from 3 o'clock clear until the next day, but I am unavailable in the fact that I don't like to be distracted and have my phone going off while I'm trying to do like dinner and kids stuff and husband stuff and whatever. So putting that out there again for everybody to know, spread that around so we don't have anybody getting upset or, whatever. But I think that's all I've got. Hopefully this is enough to like motivate you to just kick ass for December, because you guys, a lot of you are going to go places and you're going to go far. I know Ciara's going to gun for bronze. Michelle's going to gun for bronze. I know Danielle could gun for bronze. Like, we are going to make some magic happen. It's going to be fun. So you guys all have a really great Saturday. Have a good weekend. Let me know if you need anything.